Hi everyone, this is going to be a different video than what you are used to on the channel because I have analyzed this range in a little bit more detail in the past 15-20 minutes, and I just want to share some of my brainstorm scenarios with you. They are in random order. I have one bearish scenario, all the other scenarios are bullish scenarios, but maybe there is still something that you can take away from me brainstorming about different scenarios and explaining why one is a higher probability compared to another, right? So starting with the most bearish scenario at the moment, which would be a W zigzag, X zigzag, and then a bigger triangle in a wave Y, which is not yet finished. So in this case, we want the range to continue. With regards to other bearish scenarios, most of the impulsive structures have a low probability. If you do think about an impulsive structure, a potential expanding diagonal comes to mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But an expanding diagonal is rare, never preferred, unless all of the other structures fail. And when we think about impulses, well, I think that this week and last week I covered impulses enough, looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and why they have low probabilities. So your most bearish would be an expanding diagonal, but that in general has low probabilities unless all the other stuff fails, which then leaves us with this WXY here as a backup for the bears. And then the other scenarios here are actually all bullish scenarios. So the first structure I want to show you, again, completely random order. It's just showing you some of the brainstorm that I have done here. Is we have a zigzag in W, WXY double zigzag in wave X, and then look for another zigzag in a wave Y, where this is an A. Look for a wave B here. Preferably take out this low at about 57.8K, and then move back towards the upside without taking the low here at 56.2K, because in wave B we are then looking for a flat 5 wave A, 3 wave B, flat structure 5 wave C. Most common target for your internal B, A, B, C expanding flat is the blue fibs here, which have been respected. And then you're looking for an impulse down on the lower time frame. That is then a 1, 2, 3, preferably another 4 and a 5. If price moves up to 60K, then a wave of 4 is invalidated on the lower time frame. A second scenario here is again a WXY, finish W, zigzag, but then inside wave X, we have an internal complex structure. So we have a zigzag in this wave W, and then we have a running flat in X. Now a running flat is an ABC, where wave C does not take the high of A. Very rare, never preferred unless all these structures fail, but then again, it's a bit of a brainstorm dump. So you have a zigzag, running flat, and then pretty much the same expanding flat. However, in this particular scenario, your wave Y is allowed to go deeper. It is even allowed to take this low. That is no problem. Then you finish X and you look for a wave Y towards the upside still. Then over here, group 3, the third scenario, zigzag here to the upside again in your W, another long X, and then a wave Y. In this case, your wave X is again a complex structure, but a little bit different. Zigzag in W, complex structure in your wave X, and then you have a regular flat A, B, C in your wave Y. So the 0.9 is touched. The 0.9 is a target for a wave B in a regular flat A, B, C, but now your minimum target would be taking out the low at 56.1K, and then we look for signs of strength here at the 55K support box, which remains a very interesting area of support, right? Gotta say. And below this box we have the 52K area of support over here, but in this case preferably you would like to hold 55K, would be nice, and then move for your wave Y towards the upside. Then we have a number 4 here, a W, finished a zigzag, and then this time in wave X, again a zigzag in W, complex structure in X, and now a triangle in wave Y, A, B, C, D, E, continuation of the range, finish X with the triangle in Y, and then move up inside the blue wave Y, which means also here we continue the range pretty much sideways. Your invalidation would be taking out this high or taking out this low. Now actually there's a couple of triangle scenarios possible here. You could even move this wave X to the right and count this A, B, C, D, E, and then eventually finish X here. Look for the white wave Y to the downside to finish your blue X, and then move up for Y. So that is also an alternative in this particular case. This is your YOLO, absolute YOLO FOMO scenario, where you have your wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and up you go to the moon, all-time high, next 100 million Bitcoin, where you have to count this as some sort of a 5-wave structure. Now, probabilities remain at the moment higher. It's a 3-waver. There is a slim chance to count as a 5-wave, 1, 2, 3, this as your 4, and a wave 5 to the upside, and then have a finished double zigzag in your wave 2, and then have another 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, if this low here is taken, then the last 1, 2 in white is invalidated, right? But you could still have a blue one, then have a flat structure in a blue wave 2 if you do take the low at 57.8, as long as you don't take this low here, and then you move towards the upside. Now, by all means, the level you do not want to hit is the 886 here, right? Because the 886 would significantly reduce probabilities for a wave 2 sitting at 56.6k, right? So that is a level you definitely want to avoid, but just because of the move to the upside here, which has the potential of being counted as a 5-waver, same with the wave 1 here to the upside. It has, I gotta say, a bit of a zigzag tendency to it, this move up, which can then therefore result in an ABC flat and then move up. But yeah, you know, a double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, maybe a longer 2 finish here and then move up, or a triple 1, 2, that would be, of course, your by far most bullish scenario. I do like to say that we have hit this support here. And if we do move to the downside, we actually do have still a little bit of support to the downside, which is the daily over here at 57.5. Also still the daily over here at 58.4k. So those are two levels. If you do fail to hold this daily and you flip it to resistance, I mean, pretty much 55k would be next in that scenario. I also like to show the point of controls. I always talk about my levels. I always show them in all of the content, and this is why, right? It is so nice. We move up to the daily naked point of control, straight line down to the daily naked point of control, and get a bit of a bounce towards the upside. Resistance, bit of support, beautiful. This level here, target box, right? Also over here, extra additional support, very nicely respected. Support, resistance, bit of support. I mean, it's a great bit of price action, especially in combination with CVD as well. And then we have the final scenario I have in my list, WXYXZ. So here we again have the same W, right? It's all the time counted as a zigzag. And then in wave X, you actually have a WXYXZ. Now, a WXYXZ is a very rare structure, also actually never preferred unless anything else fails. And this is a sideways WXYXZ, which means that only in one of the waves, meaning, sorry, I should say this differently. Only in W or Y or Z are you allowed to have a zigzag. In a sideways WXYXZ, you're only allowed to have a zigzag in W or Y or Z. If there is a zigzag in W, wave Y and wave Z are not allowed to be zigzags anymore. Now you can see that here W is counted as a zigzag. Then you have a complex X, WXY for X, flat in Y, flat in X, flat in Z. Now what, besides the fact it's a WXYXZ, what reduces the probabilities as well is your wave X here. Your second is then a flat A, B, C. Your wave C is very long compared to A plus B. It is longer than twice the length of A plus B. Take a fib time from the start of A, right? This is your A, this is your B, to the low of B here. Toggle on the 2. You'll see the high of X is made after the 2. That lowers the probabilities. And also, if you do think about a flat here in your second wave X, your common target area is the blue box. We did close inside the blue box, but we did wick into the 1.618, which is not really what you like to see. So it's not ideal, but then again, it is a bit of a brainstorm. But all in all, it does not really change the probabilities that I explained earlier today and in the live stream, in the previous video as well, where in this range, at least on a 4-hour time frame, the probabilities at the moment remain higher. We're looking at a 3-waver here, which arguably increases probabilities to still take the low. But on a 1-hour time frame, when we look at this structure, or I guess the 4-hour, but when we just zoom into this structure here, probabilities are higher that this is corrective. not impulsive. And the fact that the probabilities are higher, that this is a corrective structure at the moment, does increase the probabilities to still look for at least a wave Y to the upside to take this high. Of course, we do have to be prepared for the bearish scenarios. If this happens to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expanding diagonal, again, it is never preferred unless all of the other structures fail. But an expanding diagonal here, a 5-wave structure as a wave 1, then a zigzag to the upside in a wave 2 that touched the 0.786. Let me get it on the chart here. You can see it, the blue line, 0.786. That's a common target for a wave 2, right? And if you do build bearish impulsive structures to the downside now, especially if it's supported by bearish CVDs, that is definitely something we got to be aware of. That is your bearish scenario. The thing is, of course, it is important to think about this scenario. We have to keep this in mind. But when we think about Elliott waves, and this is Elliott waves, I don't care what structure is printed on the chart. I don't care about expanding the diagonal and all the WXY, XZs and whatnot. But when we think about Elliott waves and the probabilities of these scenarios defined by Elliott wave or by Mr. Elliott himself, and the data by Mr. Swannell, which you can find in Discord in the educational playlist, Elliott Waves channel, download the PDFs there. An expanding diagonal is simply a very rare structure and never preferred unless all the other stuff fails, which basically means all of the bullish scenarios have to fail for this to get the highest probability. And maybe that's the way it is. But at the moment, the probabilities would still be higher for price to take out 63K at some point, where all of this is corrective and not impulsive. Now, by all means, when we do move to the downside and we take some lows, now I really like to see signs of strength, especially keeping in mind at least the potential of downside. So what I am looking for is, of course, now we have a move to the downside here. What I want to see on a preferably 15-minute time frame, that is the preferred, is I like to see structure change. I want to see price moving to the upside, consistent grind, bullish market structure with consistent bullish CVDs. And preferably I'm able to count this from an Elliott wave point of view as a bullish scenario, which means an impulse, a diagonal, or a double 1-2, right? I want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction and another 5-wave move up to start thinking about impulses, potentially a diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction continuation, or a multi 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, boom. Preferably all of these supported by bullish CVD divergences when looking to the upside, right? Now, when we go to the CVD divergences, then you can see we have bullish CVDs here, bullish CVD. All the green lines are bullish CVDs. And the red lines are the bearish CVDs. And there's a check in the middle if they played out. There's an X in the middle if it got invalidated, right? And there's a question mark if it's unknown at the moment. Now you can see, yeah, we have some bullish CVDs here, right? But what I am most interested in, as mentioned, is the 15-minute time frame. Either support here, give me more of a structure up, and I am happy to join at a later stage. If we come down, same thing. Give me a structure, show me some nice CVDs, right? If we fill this support, 55K next, okay? Now, I am aware of potential continuation. So what I'm going to look for is price to stabilize. If we do come down, stabilize, wait, observe the range, check the structure, Elliott wave knowledge coming into play and probabilities, look for a grind up, bullish CVDs, flipping resistance into support, la-di-la-di-la, right? That is then stuff that I want to see, because on the 50-minute, if we zoom in, yes, we have some bullish CVD on the blue line, higher low in price, lower low on the CVD, but you can see we also here have a bearish CVD, lower high on price, higher high on yellow, right? So we have mixed CVD divergences. One actually, like both of these, I cannot use this in my trading. There's a bearish, there's a bullish. I can't do anything with this. What I need to see is a consistent structure into one direction with then bullish CVD divergences supporting that whole move. And at the moment here, from a CVD perspective, it's a bit of a gamble, right? Yes, we are at support. There is some bullish CVDs, but show me it wants to hold, right? Because we do have big bearish CVDs here. Show me you're going to move up, up, up. And I am happy to join here if we see continuous bullish CVDs. I'm not happy to join here. No financial advice, but I just share a little bit of insight, hopefully, about how I like to trade and some of the stuff that I'm looking for. Now, I shared a couple of scenarios, right? Just showing them again one by one and then wrapping this thing up. So your bearish scenario here, triangle, continuation of the range. Of course, your most bearish scenario would be the expanding diagonal here in then a bigger wave 1, 3-wave correction in 2. Now working on potentially another 1, 2 big drop to the downside. That is, of course, your most bearish one. Then over here, look for price to take the low, not this one, and move up in wave Y. Second one, you can move deeper, still move up for wave Y. Third one, move even deeper, still move up for wave Y, 55K important support. Sideways triangle, right? This is one of the triangles. There are several triangles. You have 5 here, most bullish YOLO scenario. You know, it's not that great in the bigger context because of the 3-wave nature of this move up. You know, it's not that awesome, but you know, good to be aware of, I suppose. Nonetheless, it's more of a brainstorm video. And then we have the WXYXZ, where preferably you take this low here. So yeah, I hope in a way it's still valuable to you. Let me know. Very much a different video than usual. If you're new to the channel, you must be like, what the fuck? This guy has no idea. He is sharing so many scenarios. What the hell's going on? But hope. You know, please stay around for a little bit longer and check out some of the other content and some of the future content, and hopefully I will be able to convert you into a sub because you enjoy what's going on here. So, you know, thanks everyone for checking this one out. Again, I hope that this video was helpful or valuable to you in one way or the other. Please check out the brand new complete Elliott Waves Guide playlist I've made that shows you all you need to know about Elliott Waves. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and I will see you at the next one. Bye bye.